Xbox finally gave us that big business update that we were all waiting for, and what was that for? Hi, welcome to ZGadgetReview. As expected, we got Microsoft Business Update. That's what they call the big announcement that they had. That was in reference to the video that I did last week about possible games coming to the PS5 and Switch. Well, this big business update that was touted for, I think, about a week, pretty much said nothing. It didn't really say anything. What the point of this update was is beyond me. Phil Spencer in Damage Controls announced that there's going to be 4 games going multi-platform. What those games are, well, that is up to you to guess based on some of these clues.
I'm not going to name those games, so I won't be talking about the titles specifically.
He wouldn't say their names no matter what, because the teams already have their own plans on the announcements.
We looked at games that are over a year old, so they've been on Xbox and PC for a while. A couple of the games are community-driven games, new games that kind of first iterations of a franchise that have reached their full potential, let's say, on Xbox and PC. There's always growth. Franchises that we obviously want to continue to invest in. We think it's important that these service-based games that have communities behind them, that they can have confidence that they're going to exist in the future. So 2 of them kind of community-driven games that will end up on other platforms and give us the ability to continue to invest in them. I'd say 2 of the other games are smaller games that were never really meant to be built as kind of platform exclusives and all the fanfare that goes around that. 4 games, no promise beyond that. So if you're on those other platforms and you see these 4 games coming, please don't take it as some signal that everything's coming. It's not.
He did tell us that Starfield and Indiana Jones are not coming to the PS5.
They are not Starfield or Indiana Jones.
Now, what could these 4 games be? Based on the cryptic clues that he gave us about the games, it's easy to say that it's going to be Hi-Fi Rush, which I had mentioned on my previous video, Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and a game that actually wasn't mentioned on my previous video was Grounded. So these 4 games are technically games that are not system sellers. So it makes sense that these games will be put in other platforms in order to monetize them and make money out of them. It also makes sense because Grounded and Sea of Thieves both are online multiplayer games. So they have microtransactions and you can grow the amount of players in these games that aren't necessarily there on Xbox. Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment are both single player games, if I'm not mistaken. They are just linear story-driven games. But you want to make some money out of these smaller games, and people aren't going to necessarily cry foul if you put these games in other platforms. We didn't get any actual response on whether Hellblade 2 is going multi-platform, Gears of War, or Halo. None of those games were mentioned. Again, there was really no talk about any games except, as I said, for Starfield and Indiana Jones not going multi-platform. Oh, and also Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass, but there's a small catch with if you will be able to play Diablo 4 or not when it comes to Game Pass. If you were losing your mind because Xbox is going to send their games to other platforms, doesn't seem like that's actually going to happen. For now. It's because in an interview after this whole announcement, he said that there wasn't going to be a pretty much never say never, thank you Justin Bieber, approach to games going to other platforms. I don't think we should as an industry ever rule out a game going to any other platform. We're focused on these 4 games and learning from the experience. But I don't want to create a false expectation on those other platforms that this is somehow the first 4 to get over the dam, and then the dam's going to open and that everything else is coming. That's not the plan today. I also don't want to mislead customers on those other platforms. We're launching these 4 games and we're excited about it. We're excited about the announce and everything else, but we'll see what happens for our business. Now let's get back to Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is coming in March, I think March 28th. Now, you have to be a premium Game Pass subscriber in order to be able to play it. If you're a core Game Pass subscriber or as an Xbox Live subscriber who was converted to a Game Pass core subscriber, you won't be able to play that game. The amount of Game Pass subscribers right now stands at 34 million. That's a growth over the 25 million that was reported back in 2022. That's the other announcement that we got. Now, that means that in the last 2 years or a little bit over 2 years, there's been an increase of only 9 million subscribers. And are we counting the people who were converted from Xbox Live to Game Pass core members? Because then that wouldn't be a huge growth on Game Pass, and that sounds like an issue to me if you're trying to make this platform a huge cloud gaming platform. Some of the things that Phil Spencer did say that should make people feel more comfortable or happy about being within the Xbox ecosystem is that the Xbox brand isn't going anywhere, and that Microsoft is committed to continuing that business and to continue making consoles. So that is point one. The second point is that Game Pass isn't going to be going to other platforms like PS5 or Switch. Game Pass is going to grow to go into other screens. The strategy here is to put Game Pass on every screen. That means that we most likely are going to start seeing Game Pass in the future in other TV besides Samsung if Xbox doesn't release so long rumored Fire Stick TV-like device for Game Pass service. Now, they did kind of tease that we're going to get a more powerful Xbox coming at some point. And this is interesting because we have heard the same thing coming from Sony, that the PS5 is close to the end of its life cycle, which will make it a really short life cycle because we're at 2 years from that console having been released. Well, let's hear what Sarah Bond had to say. We've got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. We're also invested in the next generation roadmap. What we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they are building. Of course, we're going to be hearing something about a new console this holiday. I'm expecting it to be that all wireless device that leaked before. I will link that video in the description section. That's what I'm thinking that we're going to hear this holiday about. I think that's what this is about. Actually, we're going to hear it in June for the holidays is when I'm hoping they will have that big reveal. That is something that can allow you to put your head down at night and know that Xbox isn't going anywhere. I'm going to say that this business update was in the middle. I will say that wasn't as successful as it should have been. Because the thing is, you have all these people speculating on what's happening with your business. Not only me, but a lot of people made videos on this. A lot of people were talking on Twitter about it. And so to me, coming out and saying, hey, we have 4 games coming out, I'm not going to tell you which ones those are, kind of like keeps people guessing and with doubt about what's happening. I feel that we're back at the beginning of where this started. We are not really doing anything different. Everything is kind of staying the same, but oh, by the way, we're bringing 4 games multi-platform, but there are games that you don't care about, so don't worry about it. At least that's what I got from that. So that's the update. Sorry if it feels underwhelming, but it really just was underwhelming. If you have any questions or any comments, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.